Okay, welcome again, brothers and sisters, to the university, where everyone will earn a PhD in the system of racism, white supremacy, where there is no big I's or little U's. There is absolutely no priest class, where everyone is a professor and a student. We didn't plan on having this particular class today. We were going to wait till next week, but we felt the urgency of having it due to ongoing killing of Black people in this country and across the world, and engaging in conversation with people and with Black people, and they seeming to have no idea uh, actually what is going on, and they will get mad with you in a sly kind of a way if you say, I don't think we understand the system of racism, white supremacy. And they will reply, we do, and they're all in the same breath. They couldn't tell you what it is or how it works. That's on a genocide slide. And what I'm really saying to you, that we are on a genocide slide. We are in horrible condition. I'm not saying this to say to give up, because I'm not giving up, but I am saying this to sound the alarm that we are in tremendous negativity position. So first of all, we're going to recite the definition of racism, white supremacy, and we will continue with the discussion on that subject. The title of today's subject is We Must Learn the System. We must learn the system. That's perfect. We must learn the system. So here is the definition on the system of the system of racism, white supremacy, which was first given to us by Mr. Neely Fuller and expounded upon by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. And we too added upon that definition. Mr. Neely Fuller is in his 90s now, and he's not getting around much anymore. You probably can catch him sometime on an internet radio station, but I'm sure he has slowed up with that too. It's not as frequent, but you can catch his videos on YouTube. So I encourage you to YouTube Mr. Neely Fuller. Also, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. I encourage you to YouTube her and study the videos. Please study the videos. Take time to study the videos. And Imam W.D. Muhammad. We ask you can look up all these people on the on YouTube. We call them our textbooks. This is who we study. We're students of theirs. And we try to put, we being those who are in the university, and we try to put what they say into action and spread the message, because brothers and sisters, we are on a genocide slide, and we will soon be wiped off the planet if we do not correct our position, if we do not defeat the system of racism, white supremacy. So, but here is the definition given to us by the university. This is the university's definition. Racism, white supremacy is a worldwide system for the genetic survival of those people that are classified as white. It has patterns of control in speech, thought, system formation, action, and emotional response. It is carried out in 10 areas of human activity: education, entertainment, economics, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and health for the ultimate goal of the genetic survival of those people that are classified as white. That is the goal. Now, as you can see with the verdict of that so-called trial, or with the, not the verdict, I shouldn't say that, with no indictment from the grand jury in Kentucky of the officers that lynched, Sister Taylor. Now, lynching is when a group of people are the judge, the jury, and the executioner. That's a lynching. You don't necessarily have to be swinging from a tree or beat to death and shot, and castrated and thrown in the river like Emmett Till. But that was a lynching also. Lynching is when a group of people are judge, jury, and executioner. So they showed up to Sister Taylor's house. You know the story. X number of bullets fired. One officer fired one person in a uniform, one races of white supremacy soldier, I should say, in a policeman's uniform, executed. He shot 16 times in the house. 16 times. Another officer shot 8, and the X number of shots come from another third officer. Now, this is in 2020, an execution, a lynching. And Black people seeing other Black people executed every day or every other day without the knowledge of the system of racism, white supremacy, will drive us completely insane. Completely. And that is what's happening. So the grand jury in Kentucky, it is said that a slogan, lawyers says this, different lawyers, that a DA can indict a ham sandwich. That is to say, he can get an indictment on anything he wants an indictment on, because he's the one in the room. There's no defense in that room. In other words, if I was brought up on charges and the district attorney would go to the DA, go to the grand jury, but my lawyer wouldn't be present. Only the evidence from the DA side. My lawyer wouldn't have a chance to speak. So this DA, this Attorney General in Kentucky, African American, went to seek an indictment or went to not seek an indictment. And he got just that. One officer was indicted basically for one of his bullets going into another neighbor's house. One neighbor's house. But those bullets went into multiple neighbors' homes, not counting the bullets that went into the sister's body and her home. So he got just that, a no indictment. And 2 officers went away free. And this one here is going to walk, the one that they indicted. Giving him 10 years is like walking, if it gets that far. Giving him 5 years is like walking. The other officers, with no doubt, they've been fired from their job. They just gonna go to apply for another job because they didn't get their peace officer's license taken away from them. See, they can go, for example, we live in Houston. An officer can do I hesitate to call them officers because we're going to tell you why. But those particular race soldiers could do a crime like that or any other crime. And if they keep their peace officer's badge, they just could go from Houston and then apply in Galveston and do the same thing there. Or apply in Pasadena and do the same thing there. So when those officers shot the sister to death like that, denied medical treatment to the sister, let her body sit there till she bled to death, lied on various reports, and this is the system of racism, white supremacy. And then when all of this is taking place and they finally turn a no bill to two of the officers, we being Black people, go off into some type of emotional fit as if we never seen this before. And we just seen it a month ago. We go off into a fit that why they keep killing us, not just in Kentucky, all over the country. Why they keep killing us, asking the same question over and over again. And other people in Kentucky go up to the courthouse and they make the announcement and we start crying and falling on the floor. And then you get people from Houston, far away as Houston, want to ride up to Kentucky to do what? I don't care who they are, rappers, whoever, so-called activists, as if the same thing is not right here where they live. And then you have the NAACP get the same cast of characters. We're talking about us and our responsibility. We're not talking about those who today, we're not talking about today, though, and any other day, basically, those who support the system of racism, white supremacy, that may or may not be white themselves. We're talking about us. We're not focused on the Attorney General, although he's Black. We're talking about us. So, like I said, the Attorney General does this and act like, yeah, well, this is the only thing we can charge them with. We crying, we talking on all the radio stations in the country. We on Facebook calling the Attorney General of Kentucky vicious and horrible names and shameful names, and we're saying it with pride. Basically, we're acting like children. See, and we screaming and hollering. But see, white people, the system, they know how to handle Negroes that scream and holler. That's what they want. They know how to handle Negroes that's marching down the street with sticks and no justice, no peace. They'll just put some of their people in the march and burn down a building and blame it on you. And the Attorney General of the United States will make an announcement that the next time you burn down a building or hurt a policeman, you will be charged with a felony or treason. They execute people who are treason. But we're not thinking. We're not thinking. I was in a discussion with a brother, brief, this past week. I could tell, he got kind of angry because I said we do not understand the system. I believe that's what I said. And it's evident that we don't. We do not understand. For example, all the people on Facebook, and I forgot the guy's name, the Attorney General in Kentucky. All those names that I heard people call him, handkerchief head, Negro, and all that kind of stuff, Uncle Tom, and all that kind of stuff. That's what the system wants. But the system knows that we're going to do that because we will focus on the weaker, that's each other, then focus on a white collective. We will focus on the weaker. But we don't have enough courage to study the system and be still. Don't go on any more protest march. That's over with. See, we protest in the 60s and late 50s. And the system just made an adjustment or maintenance. You see, the system establishes itself. That's why I know we don't know it. Because these are some of the steps of the system of racism, white supremacy. And the guy got mad and told me we do know it. And if I were to say, well, tell me 4 steps of the system, he couldn't do it. I didn't say that, but if I would have, he couldn't do it. But there's no knock on that. Just learn the system. So again, we were marching 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And the system of racism, early 2000s. See, we on different, most of the time on somebody physically killing us. But see, the system and those who support that system, they study 24/7, 365. See, this system will cause white people to go to the bottom of the ocean or as far as they could go and pick up 1 grain of sand and study that grain of sand for the next 50 years. We can get 10 people to study racism, white supremacy right here on this Facebook and YouTube consecutively, 10 Saturdays in a row, 5 Saturdays in a row. We couldn't get 15 people. We can't get 5. All the people ain't busy. Some of the people looking at football game. Some of the people, when I was little, younger, we used to look, when I heard, I forget his, James Baldwin say this. And I thought he was talking about me. And he was. He said he used to cheer when the Cowboys and Indian movies used to come on. He used to cheer for the Cowboys, not the football team. The Cowboys in the Indian movies. He used to cheer for the Cowboys to kill the Indians, till he found out they was really killing him. They was talking about him. I heard Imam Muhammad say that that the movies that about Tarzan, they don't play that much anymore because it did its job. The Tarzan movie, the guy couldn't even speak. He'd make noises. And everything in Africa, it was always in Africa. I couldn't understand that as a child, until I heard Imam W.B. Muhammad. Everything in Africa get to running in the native people of the country, the indigenous people of the country, they be running too. And this is on a movie. And the elephants will be running behind them. Sometimes they'll show the elephants running over them. And you got one white guy saying, he can't even speak. Who you? I'm Jane, she Jane, I'm Todd Dawn. Can't speak. He said what that was symbolizing, that was symbolic of even the dumb of us, the most dumb white person on the planet. This is about the movie Can Put You Negroes in Check. That's what it was. He's swinging from trees. Ain't even no jungles in Africa. There's no jungles in Africa. He is swinging from a tree in a jungle. And the producers of that movie were saying even the most dumb of us, the dumbest one of us that can't even speak human language, can put you Negroes in check. So know that when we out there, or when people are out there marching, no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Now here come the police, or some of those people are white supremacist soldiers dressed up in police uniforms. That's what Mr. Neely Fuller says. Now here they come with the siren, and they got extra long billy clubs on marches like that. Now here we are getting a running. Oh, they shooting and start running and tripping all over each other, just like the Tarzan movie. I maintain that I'm not talking about white people. They can march. Yeah, go march. We should not do another march. We should sit down and collect ourselves and study the system of racism, white supremacy, and exactly how it works. And when the events happen like this, that happened with Sister Taylor, don't cry all over the TV and act like you ain't gonna take it no more. You just took it last week. You're gonna take it again after this because another shoe gonna drop. And then we'll get up there and say, we want justice for Breonna Taylor. We haven't even got justice for George Floyd. Then that group of people, we want justice for George Floyd. Then the other group of people, we want justice for Joten Bond. However you pronounce his name. We haven't even got justice for Emmett Till. And we will put that almost in a singular form. We'll put it in a singular form. We want justice for George Floyd. What? Well, what about Bolton John, who was slaughtered before George Floyd? The better way of doing it is say, we know exactly what y'all are doing. Y'all is the white collective. Now I know some of you just about to fall out your chair. White people ain't bad. I'm talking about a system. We know exactly what is going on here. All of us should be saying this. From the highest ranking member in the political arena, our most favorite religious leader, the highest Black economist, the most learned Black sociologist, the most learned Black person of education, we should be saying this. We know exactly what you are doing. You are practicing the system of racism, white supremacy. And we know exactly how it works. We shouldn't be getting on TV crying and snotting and somebody got to hold her up and she about to fall down because that was the baby of hers. That's what the system wants because they're going to drop another shoe next week. And it's not just the murders. That's just a symptom. The bigger thing is the problem. The problem is racism, white supremacy. If you go to the doctor and the doctor says you have cancer, they ain't gonna focus on your toenail falling off. They're going at that cancer. That's where the main focus is gonna be. They're gonna mention that this particular cancer caused your toenails to fall off. But they going directly at that cancer. We going at the symptoms. Police brutality. Well, what about gentrification? Oh, I forgot about that. We ain't even mentioned that. All across the country. It's like they moved at once while we was asleep. And while we had Black leaders, I heard one of them say it right here in Houston, that gentrification don't have nothing to do with racism. And that particular person is on every damn panel in Houston there is. Every damn panel it is. Our schools are being closed. They damn near done closed all of them. They took a school like Yates, Jack Yates. Menifee is on here now, played running back, good student also. Good brother. Yeah, they took a school like Yates that had thousands of children. See, we ain't making no connection. We ain't making no connection. That had thousands of students. They got less than 800. And they built a matchbox. That is to say, as a school, go by that. That is to say, we don't plan on letting y'all get any bigger. So if we need to tear this little structure down quick, we can. Now go over there and look at Lamar. Not all. But the majority of the Blacks that's supposed to be at Sterling, Yates, Booker T. Washington, Wheatley, they're in Lamar and Bel Air. Now go over there and look at those schools. But we don't see that as racism. That's racism, white supremacy at work. Because it operates in 10 categories. Education is one of those categories. Economics is one of those categories. You can connect economics to owning a home and to gentrification. But economics in this country is ran, and over the world, is ran by racism, white supremacy. So they commit gentrification on us. The dogs in Third Ward that's owned by the White Collective, they have dog parks. Black people ain't got nowhere to stay in Third Ward. The Black people that's in Third Ward now, some of them have money. Most of us are just barely hanging on. Well, you should have took care of your grandma's house. Brother, I heard people say that. Right here on the Facebook. They thought it was about taking care of your grandma's house. Although some of us have let our grandparents' house go because we chose to get on drugs that is ran by racism, white supremacy. But you don't have to be on drugs to lose your grandmother's house. All you have to do is not have the ability to pay the taxes, which leads us back to racism, white supremacy. I bet you we couldn't get 10 people that's satisfied with their job position, their rate of pay, their annual increase in pay, or their promotion on the job. You couldn't get 10 Black people. Just ask them and see how many say they're satisfied. I bet you if you ask 50, you couldn't get 5 that's satisfied. Oh yeah, I'm getting paid pretty good. I get promoted. Yeah, I'm getting promoted. Yeah. And I see other Blacks come into this particular company I work for, and they getting promoted. Couldn't find 5 out of 50. That's racism, white supremacy. So that's why I'm saying I contend that we should not take the position of just racism, white supremacy is just killing Black people. That's one symptom. It is a complete system that encompasses education, economics, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and health. And it has patterns. These patterns move in those particular 10 areas. The patterns are images, symbol formation, action, and emotional response. Those are the patterns, and they move throughout those 10 areas. So we have to learn that. And if we don't learn it, just take your grandchildren and their children's children and line them up for the slaughter, because they are slaughtering us wholesale. Look at the banks. This is economics. It's a brother, I forgot his name. He's a doctor. He's a doctor. He's a surgeon. Matter of fact, he's just not any doctor. This particular brother is a surgeon. Well, him and his friend, they also engage in real estate. Between the two of both of them have 800 beacon scores or something like that, 740 or 800, something like that. That's off the chart. That's what that means. Excellent. So they went to a bank to get a loan because they also play golf with these Caucasian fellows. And that's why they got some of the ideas to go to a bank to get loans to buy some of the housing and resell them or refurbish them and then resell them. So they got together one day and discussing their moves along with these Caucasian surgeons. Well, the brothers came back. They reported they was denied. And the Caucasian guy said, no, you should have went to this bank. He said, that's the bank that I went to. That same bank took the Caucasian guy who had about 600 beacon score. That's a long ways from 740 or 800. He had about a 6 something. Got $1 million more than once. See, racism, white supremacy does exist. And if we have any imams, any preachers, any ministers, or holy fathers or whatever, not talking about that, they ain't talking about nothing. They ain't talking about nothing. because Black people are being slaughtered. And the prophet, peace be upon him, that was in his last sermon, as I understand it. There's no superiority. The prophet Muhammad. There's no superiority over Black, over white. So this was in effect when he was coming, when he was on the planet. We can't get 10 imams to talk about that, not in Houston. And as far as I can see, nowhere in the country. Same thing with preachers. Jesus was a revolutionary. I was talking to a brother the other day. He's so caught up in his this is how sick we are. He's so caught up in his emotionalism. One brother say, "What's up, brother?" He say, "Oh man, it's all right." He said, "You got it. You got the best hand." "No, I ain't got it. He got it." Looking all up at the heavens. "Oh, he got it." All at the same time, he tell you how many butt naked places he done been to. Excuse me. "Oh, I used to do it." Man, please. See, we are caught up into the system of racism, white supremacy, not on the end of knowing, but on the end of not knowing. And it has driven us insane. Just take this analogy. And first, let me stop. I appreciate you three brothers that's on here now. And what we learn, we go pass it on to some others, start in our own house. Rasul been doing this before I was born, or a little after I was born. I probably was 3, somewhere around there. Jack is spreading this. Brother Menifee is going to spread it. And we wanted to say in the beginning, we appreciate you, brother. But just think of it as a sports game, be it chess, football, basketball. You cannot win a football, a basketball game, or chess without understanding the game in depth. Cannot. You will get slaughtered. Brother Menifee, we were on a team together. I know sometimes we would beat some teams 60 to nothing, 65 to nothing. He remembers 50 to nothing. They did not understand the game in depth. We did. But when you do not understand racism, white supremacy in depth, you will get beat 60 to nothing. You will get slaughtered. You cannot go on a football field with a tennis racket. That's what we've been doing. The NAACP, and we're calling these groups, we're calling each other out to try to shock our conscience. That's what I'm doing. That's the point I'm at. Anytime somebody gonna argue with me that they know what racism, white supremacy is, and if you ask them, which I didn't, and if you not that particular day, if you asked them to define it, they couldn't do it. You asked them, tell me how it works. They could not do it. You say, well, how does it move? They could not do it. And then they had to go. So the NAACP in Houston, and I'm assuming probably all over the country, act like they were shocked, like they went into a state of shock to see this, that no indictment in Kentucky. like they was just in a state of shock. At the same time, the NAACP, when Ida B. Wells was on the scene, used to record the lynchings that was happening in the country during that time. Another black man was lynched today. But we act like we're just shocked. I'm shocked and outraged. And it's always the same group of people. If something happened tonight, it's going to be the same group of people up there making a cameo appearance so they can get further up the ladder of political arena and economic arena. Black teachers are being attacked at Houston Community College. It makes no sense for one brother to be out there sounding the alarm. The whole system is attacking us. The brother gave a report the other day on a community college, but we really don't like him, so he gave us a report the other day. Cornell. We should address it as the whole system. We should say this is directly connected to Sister Taylor, George Floyd. That is connected to gentrification. That is connected to the last hired, first fired on jobs. But we ain't making no connection. We just keep saying we want justice. You cannot have justice in a system of racism, white supremacy. And that is the system you live in. We live in a system of racism, white supremacy. You do not live in a system of democracy. Because if you did, the President of the United States wouldn't be saying what he's saying. If you did, Black people wouldn't be getting shot in their own homes. If you did, Black people wouldn't be gentrified. Gentrification only means the forcible removal of Black people from the inner city. That's the definition of gentrification. Well, let me look at Webster. Damn Webster. Gentrification, because you could see that. You don't see no white people being gentrified and we moving in there. You see white flight, but you don't see that anymore. You probably see that in about 10 years. See, we used to follow them everywhere they go. Till the system made perform maintenance on itself. They say, okay, you keep following us. Okay, we're going to gentrify you. We're going to remove you from the inner city and push you out into those Pearland, Sugar Lands. So now, at the same time, we know you ain't thinking. We're going to build a toll road coming from there into Houston where you got to come to work. We're going to put it right there on 288, where people from Pearland has to come into work. And we're going to charge you every day. The road already paid for. We just going to charge you every day. And we can't get one politician, Sheila Jackson Lee, Al Green, Alma Allen, any one of them, to make a connection or say something about it. The only time they're saying something is when somebody gets shot and they tell us it's a tragedy, as if we don't know it's a tragedy. And then they gone, just like a puff of smoke. They make an appearance so they can make their cameo appearance. They may be carrying a flag that they just got off the Capitol building in Washington and give it to the family. And we'll see y'all next time. They never open their mouth about gentrification, about what's going on these jobs, about the NFL. Over 90% black. And I don't know how many black coaches they got. I know it ain't 10. I don't even think it's 6 black head coaches. Probably less than that offensive coordinators. So what should we do, Brother Muhammad? This is what we should do. And Mr. Neely Fuller wrote about this in 1953. That's before I was born. That's like 12 years or 11 years or something before I was born. He wrote about it, but it has always been here. I heard Imam Muhammad say it was good common rational sense. He urged us to clean up ourselves. That's from Imam Muhammad. Now the followers of Imam Muhammad, I don't hear them saying nothing like that. Only about, now there are some. Abdullah Rashid and Imam Rasul is one of them. 2 of them, excuse me. And I'm sure there's some more. But the ones that have platforms, I don't hear them saying nothing about that. These particular 2 brothers that I know of, they deal with people in the street. And I ain't saying that because what I'm on here. I always said it. But Imam Muhammad taught us to be dignified. We can defeat this system if we defeat what's in us. That has always been a saying. That has always been the goal. Before him, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it. Before him, Booker T. Washington said it. Noble Drew Ali said it. Frederick Douglass said it. I forgot Marcus Garvey said it. It always been here. We ain't saying it now, though. Mr. Neely Fuller put pen to paper in 1953. And what I'm about to tell you, most of these solutions, he called them, how did he say that? Countermeasures. Countermeasures to the system of racism, white supremacy. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing called them exercises in Black mental health. Imam W.D. Muhammad said it's just good, rational, common sense. He said mother wit, that's common sense. That you come here with that from your mother. Pull your damn pants up. You got the responsibility to brush your damn teeth. Imam Muhammad said, what? You stop a guy and say, hey man, you sleeping with your nose next to the camel's rump, booty. And that guy will wake up. I got my rights. And if you wake me up again, I'll kill you, nigga. That's what we'll say. I can wear my pants down to my knees if I want to. F you. But here are some solutions. See, I bet you I couldn't get 10 people in the local mosque around the masjid around the country. You say, man, you ever heard of Mr. Neely Fuller? You ever heard of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing? You ever heard of Imam Muhammad? Oh, you know I go with the Imam, and all of them said the same thing. I don't get off of that, you know, it ain't about race. You live in a system of racism, white supremacy, and it's about race. Race can only come up if you live in a system of racism, white supremacy. You pay, we're gonna bring it to a close. The big producer came in. You pay Your license, you go down there and get another license. Your race is on there. You go down there and they're gonna bury you. Your race is on there. Do you protest it? Do you say I don't have to put my mama race on here? She just getting buried in the ground. I bet you won't get. I bet you have to put it on there. Race only comes up, only is a factor if you live in a system of racism, white supremacy. Learn what this system is. Here are some of the solutions that we were telling you about, countermeasures, exercises in Black mental health. Here are some. Stop lying to each other. Stop fighting each other. Stop calling each other vicious names. The Holy Quran tells us that. So we know it done been here at least 1,500 years. Stop calling each other vicious names. Stop killing each other. Stop using and selling drugs. Stop snitching on each other. Quickly, let me tell you what snitching is, because we don't know. Snitching is reporting someone to authorities for your own political or economic gain. Here is an example. Turning someone in and you want to do the same thing they just done. You turn them in, they get in trouble, then you take their place. That's snitching. Snitching. Stop acting like racism, white supremacy does not exist. Because it does exist. It's reality. And when you live outside of reality, there's a word for it, crazy. Those are some countermeasures, and there's more. But you know what they are already. You know you ain't got no business out here killing each other. And some of those vicious names, hoes, bitches, motherfucker, thugs, sons of bitches, God damn it, and all that, kill a nigga. All that means that's destroying your image or our image. And who can't kill a motherfucker? See, when you describe yourself as a slim thug, who can't kill that person or that entity? A slim thug. And we think we came up with them names. The system of racism, white supremacy came up with those names. And those are some countermeasures. We're going to be back not next week, but the week after. We ask you to pass this along. Please go to YouTube and hit like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to get the message out there. Keep up the good work. Don't be fooled by some of these people that's calling this. Oh, remember this. Police officers, by definition, is to protect and serve. When you see a police officer doing what they done to Sister Taylor, George Floyd, etc., they're not policemen. They're race soldiers wearing policeman uniform. They are not policemen. Have a good day, brothers and sisters. Say your prayers. Oh, man. We won't be here again, like I told you, we'll be celebrating. I don't know if they won't be saying, well, we'll be celebrating a friend of mine. He's having a birthday. And we want to thank those who prayed for my mother. She's at home safe, had a little illness. And we thank you for those who prayed. And she's at home recovering. And keep up the good work. We're going to make it. Walk tall, brothers and sisters. Thank you. I made it.